Hi, this is your very own latitude. Imagine waking up one morning to the smell of smoke, the sky an eerie orange, and the sound of helicopters overhead. It's not a dystopian movie. It's the reality for thousands of Californians every year. Wildfires have become an all too familiar disaster, tearing through neighborhoods, destroying homes, and displacing families. But why does this keep happening? Isn't California supposed to be on the cutting edge of technology and disaster management? The truth is, the wildfire crisis isn't just a freak accident of nature. It's the result of a perfect storm of immediate triggers, long-standing policies, and a rapidly changing climate. The situation is heart-wrenching. Entire communities are left in ruins. Families are forced to rebuild from scratch, while wildlife and forests that took centuries to grow are wiped out in hours. And as these fires grow fiercer and more frequent, they expose cracks in systems we rely on, especially insurance. How do you protect your home when even insurers are pulling back? In this article, let's dig deep into the layers of this crisis. We'll explore what's causing these wildfires, how policies have played a role, the staggering costs involved, and how insurance, something meant to protect us, is now facing a crisis of its own. California wildfires are no longer rare, once-in-a-decade disasters. They're an annual event. Each year, vast stretches of land are scorched, homes are destroyed, and lives are upended. These fires aren't just impacting rural areas anymore. Urban neighborhoods and hillside communities are increasingly at risk. What's worse is that the frequency and intensity of these fires have only been escalating. What makes this crisis particularly unique is its scale and complexity. It's not just about fighting fires, it's about understanding why they're happening so often and why they're so difficult to manage. From poorly managed forests to climate change and even housing policies, a tangled web of factors contributes to this relentless cycle of destruction. Every fire starts somewhere, right? A spark can come from many places. It might be from a downed power line, a cigarette carelessly thrown on the ground. Even a campfire that's not watched can start a big fire. But for these sparks to grow, the right conditions have to be there. And California has those conditions. Long, dry summers make everything very dry. The plants are brittle and ready to catch fire. Hot winds like the Santa Ana and Diablo winds push the flames along, making it hard for firefighters to keep up. With the drought going on, things get even worse. You'd think that after all the wildfires California has faced, they'd have a solid plan in place. But that's not true. The state's way of managing forests has mostly been about putting out fires instead of stopping them before they start. For a long time, controlled burns, those intentional fires to clear out dry plants, were not used enough. Why? Well, sometimes it's because of strict rules, and other times it's just a lack of funds or poor management. Urban planning hasn't done us any favors. Many communities now spread into areas that are at risk for fires. You often see homes in canyons or on hills covered in dry brush. While they look nice, they can be a big problem for firefighters. A lot of these houses are made with materials that can catch fire easily. Plus, some don't have enough room for emergency vehicles to get through. Climate change is a big deal. It's causing temperatures to rise and weather to act all weird. Droughts are lasting longer too. This all makes wildfires worse and tougher to handle. We need better rules to cut carbon emissions and deal with these changes. Ever wonder why it always feels like we're behind the curve? One big reason is resources. California has some top-notch firefighting crews, but they can still struggle with so many fires popping up. They often lack the right equipment and funding, especially with fire seasons getting longer each year. Communication is another issue. Evacuation warnings don't always reach everyone on time, leaving vulnerable populations, like the elderly or those without access to transportation, at risk. The logistics of moving thousands of people to safety while coordinating fire suppression efforts, it's a monumental challenge. And let's not forget politics. Balancing environmental protections with the need for aggressive fire prevention measures isn't easy. Too many rules can slow down important tasks. This includes things like clearing brush or doing controlled burns. The numbers are staggering. The ongoing wildfires in Los Angeles alone are predicted to cost anywhere from $135 billion to $150 billion according to early estimates. To put it in perspective, that's more than some countries' annual GDPs. And it's not just about money. Over 200,000 people have been evacuated, and thousands of homes have been reduced to ash. For families, the emotional toll is incalculable. Imagine losing your home, your memories, and your sense of security all in one night. Entire communities are struggling to rebuild. Wildlife, too, pays a heavy price. Insurance is meant to be our lifeline in times of crisis, isn't it? For many Californians, though, navigating the insurance landscape in the face of wildfires feels increasingly challenging. As wildfires become more frequent and devastating, insurance companies are pulling out of high-risk areas. Some are refusing to renew policies. Others are hiking premiums to levels that many families simply can't afford. California's FAIR plan, a last resort insurance option, offers some coverage, but it's far from perfect. Premiums are higher, and the coverage isn't as comprehensive as private policies. Yet more and more people are relying on it because they have no other choice. Insurers are facing big problems with wildfires. The costs from these fires are getting higher, often more than what they make from premiums. To deal with this, companies are changing their policies. This shows how tough it is to provide good coverage while keeping prices reasonable. The California wildfire crisis is a wake-up call. It's a complex problem that requires a multifaceted solution: better forest management, smarter urban planning, and policies that address the realities of climate change. But beyond the policies and numbers, it's about people. Families who've lost everything, firefighters risking their lives, communities coming together to rebuild. This isn't just California's problem. It's a glimpse into the challenges we'll all face as our planet continues to warm. That's all for this episode of Latitude. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.